Welcome, my name's Coco, and I will be leading you through a 60-minute intermediate power yoga class. Feel free to grab whatever props you need to make your class more comfy. Making your way onto your mat into a nice, easy seat, bringing the hands palms up or palms down, gently closing or softening the eyes here, and take a minute to settle in. Take a nice deep inhale through the nose and exhale out through the mouth as if you're blowing a candle. Inhale through the nose and exhale out through the mouth. One more time here, letting go of whatever worries or stressors you have today, kindly asking them to step aside. Interlace your fingers now, flip your palms inside out and reach the hands up, taking a peek at them, rooting down into the sit bones, move over to the right side, and then over to the left. Getting nice and big here, releasing the hands, moving the fingers as needed, circling the arms down and open. And then we will bring the hands together in front of us, the elbows touching. Bring the hands into a fists and slowly peel them out from each other, trying to keep the wrists connected here. We're going to slowly open up the fingers out to the right and left side, coming into a full wrist extension. Slowly curling the fingers back into a fist and kiss the knuckles back towards one another. Inhale, slowly release the fingers out, splaying them to side, and then slowly closing the knuckles to kiss. Do this as many times as you need, then shake your hands out here. Re-rooting down into the sit bones, we're going to bring the hands onto the knees and make some full body circles here. Imagine cat and cow. Cow when we come forward, lifting through the chest, finding a nice big arch, and cat when we come back, extending the spine out. Finding some lubrication in the hips and using the hands as support here. Try to really dig in deep. Nice. On your next circle, we'll reverse the circles here. So coming all the way back up and then coming to the other side. Exploring here, listening to the body and being a passive observer. And just enjoying the journey. If you hear any pops or cracks, that's just the body's way of saying hello. One more circle here. Rooting into the sit bones and using the hands to help stabilize. We'll inhale, draw the chest forward for a seated cow pose. Exhaling, curling everything in, tucking the chin, move it into cat. Moving through a few more rounds of seated cat-cow here. And then inhale, sweep the arms up here, finding length. And exhale, bring the hands forward, drop the head. Not touching the ground here, but rooting back into the sit bone and coming all the way back up. Exhale, fold forward. Resting the head on a block or the ground, or just letting it drop. Nice. Taking a few more breaths here. Rooting down to the sit bones. We'll come out of this pose, bringing the hands behind us, palms on the ground, fingers facing the body, and come into reverse tabletop. Opening up through the chest and the heart, the front of the body, being active in the legs, stretching in the shoulders here, and then gently setting the bum down onto the ground, wrapping the arms around the thighs, finding flexion in the spine as you curl forward. Slowly releasing out and coming into your staff pose, extending the legs out in front of you, flexing the feet, bringing the hands alongside the hips, And extending the crown up here, we'll take a look over the left shoulder, come back through center, and over the right shoulder. Feeling the spine lengthen, the side bodies lengthen. Drawing the right knee into the chest, and then dropping it over onto the left side of the leg. We'll wrap the left arm around the knee, inhale, lengthen, and begin to bring the right arm behind like a second spine. Finding a nice big twist here, inhale, lengthen, and exhale, twist. One more breath, inhale, lengthening, and exhale, twisting. Slowly releasing out. We're gonna come to a counter twist, twisting to the left just for a moment. And then grabbing onto the toe, we're gonna inhale, extend the right foot up to the sky, transitioning, coming into a half hero pose, letting the knee point out, bringing the top of the foot alongside the hip. Feeling free to add on a little twist here to the right. Trying to keep the shoulders stacked over the hips here. And then gently unwinding, bringing the foot into the chest, grabbing the right hand around the right knee, and rocking back and forth like you would a little baby. Feeling the sit bones connected with the earth, rocking forward and back, side to side. Gently extending that leg out. Inhale, reaching up, and exhale, folding forward. Not staying here, but inhale, reach back up, and exhale, fold. One more time, inhale, reach up, and exhale, folding at the hips. Nice. Gently bring the right foot to rest on the left knee, coming into either a figure four or a half locust pose here. Rooting down into the sit bones, we'll inhale, reach up, and exhale, fold. Breathing into any spots of tension, letting go of any gripping here. Rooting down into the sit bones, come all the way back up. Extending the leg out in front of you and coming to the opposite side, bringing the left foot over to the right side of the body, wrapping the right arm around the leg and bringing the left arm behind. Inhale, lengthening here, and exhale, bringing the gaze over that left shoulder. Imagine the crown extending up as the sit bones extend down. Keeping that extended foot nice and flexed here. And then gently release out, coming into a counter twist. And then gathering the toe here with the left hand. Inhale, bringing that left leg up. Gently releasing out and coming into the half hero pose, bringing the leg alongside the top of the foot by the hip, the knee pointing out towards the front of the room. Breathing into any tightness. And then gently releasing out, gathering the shin and the knee and the ankle like a baby here, wrapping the arms around the foot and the knee and rocking back and forth, side to side, however feels good. Releasing out here, letting the top of the left foot come on towards the hip crease on the right side, coming into half locust or figure four here. Folding forward, dropping the head. And breathing into any toughness, tightness. Trying to find a little bit of softness here, whether that's in the thoughts, in the face. Inhale, reaching up, releasing that leg out. And then we'll move into a nice straddle here. Bringing the hands to frame the right foot. We're going to point the toes and then begin to lift from the top of the thigh. Adding some strength into our practice here. Lifting, lifting, then pointing and flexing the toes, popcorning the knee out. We'll frame the hands of the left foot and pointing the toe here, lifting from the top of the thigh. Great conditioning for handstand, popcorning the knee out, and then bringing the legs into a little bit of a wider straddle here. We'll inhale, reach the fingers up, and exhale, pivot the belly button towards the right side of the foot, dropping down, dropping the head, reaching for the knee, the ankle, the toes. Trying to keep the feet nice and flexed here, rooting down into the sit bones. We'll inhale, reach up, and exhale over to the left side. Noticing what's going on in the body and not giving it a narrative or a story. Rooting down into the sit bones, come all the way back up. And then we'll drop the right hand onto the inside of the right leg. Inhale, reach the left arm up, and exhale, fold over. Trying to open the chest up here. Opening it up towards the ceiling, maybe taking the gaze up. Using the arm to help create some friction here, some opposing force as we push the arm against the knee and the knee against the arm. Inhale, come up through center, and exhale over to the left side, bringing the left elbow into the crook of the knee. Reaching up and over, spiraling the ribs up towards the ceiling here. Rooting into the sit bones, coming all the way up, and then folding forward, dropping the head whenever you get to your spot of comfort. Slowly inhale, make your way up, and we'll make our way into our tabletop pose here. Finding a neutral spine here, stacking the shoulders over the wrists, the knees underneath the hips. Then inhale, drop the belly, take the gaze up, cow pose. Following the breath here, make your way through your cat-cow. Taking a few rounds here so that you feel good in your body. Maybe even coming into a little knee vinyasa, sinking back. Maybe looking over the right and left shoulder, coming into little C shapes here. Taking a few more rounds. And then we'll walk the hands off the right side of the mat. Take a peek over that back shoulder. Walk the hands back through center and over off the left side of the mat. Take a peek over that back shoulder. Coming back through center, we'll slowly transition into our extended puppy pose, trying to keep the hips stacked over the knees and walking the hands out as we drop the heart down. Letting the chin or the forehead come onto the mat. Opening here, big opening through the chest. Knowing if you feel any pain or discomfort to back off. We're going to slowly transition out here and come into a rabbit pose. Bringing the knees so that they're touching so we can bring the top of the belly down onto the thighs. We're going to wrap the hands around towards the back of the feet, reaching for the shins here. We're going to slowly roll up onto the top of the crown, taking a nice big stretch in the cervical spine here, the thoracic spine. Staying here for a few more breaths. We're going to begin to slowly release out, coming into a quick child's pose to reset the spine, find some neutrality. Making your way back into your tabletop here. We're going to come onto the tops of the feet, pressing down into the hands, protracting the shoulders. Inhale, we're going to lift the right knee up towards the right elbow. Exhale it out. Inhale, right knee to right elbow. Exhale it out. One more time. Inhale, right knee to right elbow. Exhale it out. Take it to the left side. Staying on the tops of the toes, using the core. Bring the left elbow towards the left knee. Inhale and exhale. Nice. Slowly coming back onto the knees here, slapping out the tops of the feet. We'll curl the toes under here and lift back to our downward facing dog. All 10 fingertips facing the front of the room, pedaling out the feet as needed. Shaking the head yes and no a few times. And then allowing the head to drop down between the biceps here. Lifting the hips up and back, letting the heels reach down for the ground, even if they don't make it. Coming up onto the toes here, we'll walk our toes to meet our hands, but we're going to stop when we're about a foot away, really pressing into the hands here. On your next inhale, lift the right leg up. Exhale it down. Inhale the left leg up. Walk the feet the rest of the way and find your forward fold. Bending the knees here as generously as you need to take this out of the glutes and the hamstrings. Feeling free to grab opposite elbows, take a ragdoll, swaying side to side. Letting everything drop out here. Letting the spine get long. Rooting down into the feet, all four corners. And letting your drishti focus on something between your legs. On your next inhale, you're going to slowly roll all the way up, vertebrae by vertebrae, having the chin and the hands be the last thing to lift. On your next inhale, lift all the way up, taking the gaze up here. We're going to inhale, grab the left wrist with the right hand, bringing the left foot out behind us. We'll fall over to the right side. Inhale, bringing the left foot all the way up into Dancing Shiva, bringing the arms out to a cactus. Inhale, set that foot down behind us, stretch over to the right side. Inhale up to Dancing Shiva. And exhale, setting that foot back down, bringing the ribs spiraling up towards the ceiling. And then we'll find it on the opposite side, grabbing the opposite wrist. Inhale, reaching up, bringing the right foot behind us. And then finding our Dancing Shiva, bringing the arms out to cactus, bringing the knee in line with the hip. Release that foot down. Find your nice big side body stretch. Inhale, coming back up to Dancing Shiva. And exhale, bringing that foot behind us, stretching all the way to the left. Slowly releasing out here. And bringing the hands to heart center. Inhale, circling the hands back up. And exhale them out. Folding forward here. Inhale, lifting up halfway. And exhale, folding. Inhale, lift up halfway. And exhale, fold, release. Plugging down into the feet. Inhale, come all the way up, sweeping the arms up, extended mountain. Exhale, fold. Planting the hands. Inhale, find that halfway lift. Exhale, step back to your high plank pose. We're going to slowly let the shoulders come past the wrists here, coming into supercharged high plank. Holding here, and then make your way through your vinyasa, coming to chaturanga, halfway lift, upward facing dog, and downward facing dog. Letting each vinyasa speak for itself, not trying to flail through the motions, but rather feel through the motions. On your next inhale, we'll plant into the hands and lift the right leg, coming into three-legged dog. Coming up onto the toes, stretching through the hip. We'll inhale, bring that right knee to the right elbow, then to the left elbow, then to the right, to the left, to the right. Kick that foot out, come into your fallen triangle here, lifting the left arm up, opening the chest here to the ceiling. Planting down into that left hand, transition into your three-legged dog. Bringing that foot all the way through here, coming into your first warrior. Setting up the foundation first, lifting the gaze. And then interlacing the hands behind the back. Inhale here and exhale. Find your humble warrior. Peeling your hands up and off the back. Dropping the head. Finding equal weight distribution in both feet. Inhale, come back up. And exhale, humble warrior. Inhale, come up. Release the hands here. Take one more breath as you reach up. Then frame the front foot, setting that back foot down. Coming into low lunge. Transitioning here into low lunge and half splits. Straightening that front leg. Finding extension from the crown to the spine. Keeping the gaze down. Coming back into that low lunge, we'll swing the left foot off the left side of the mat. Grabbing onto the right toes, we'll inhale, plant into the left hand, open up to your side plank. We won't stay here long. We're going to transition into gate pose, bringing the hands up, the shoulders up, bringing the right hand onto the extended right foot. We're going to cartwheel the hands back down and lift the right leg up, coming into three-legged dog. Setting the foot down, recentering the breath, and left leg up, three-legged dog. Coming up onto the toes here, finding some length, we'll inhale that knee to the left elbow, then to the right, over to the left, over to the right. Kick that foot out, find your fallen triangle. Reaching down and up. Still breathing here. And slowly unwinding, keeping that foot lifted, coming back to three-legged dog before we transition to our warrior one, Virabhadrasana 1. Finding equal weight distribution, and then interlacing the fingers behind the hands here, lengthening, folding on the inside of that left leg, humble warrior. On your next inhale, lift up. And exhale, fold down, humble warrior. Inhale, reach all the way up, extend the arms overhead, Exhale, frame that left foot, set that back knee down here. Coming into low lunge before we transition to our half splits. Straightening that front leg, flexing the toes up towards the nose. And then transitioning into our side plank, swinging the right foot off the right side of the mat, grabbing onto the left toes. Inhale, lifting up. Slowly releasing, and we'll transition into our gate pose here. Inhale, bringing the shoulders up over the hips, then bringing the left hand down onto the left leg, reaching up and over here. We'll slowly cartwheel the hands down and transition onto our hands and knees, coming all the way onto the belly. Bringing the hands alongside the ribs, we'll inhale, root down into the pelvis. Exhale, come up into cobra. Following the breath here, imagining the spine like a wave. Inhale, coming up, and exhaling down. Inhale, come up. Exhale, down. Curl the toes under here. Tone the thighs up towards the ceiling. Inhale, lift up into a high plank, pushing back to your downward facing dog. Taking a few breaths here to recenter. Coming up onto your toes, taking the gaze forward, step or hop to the front of your mat for forward fold. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, sink the hips down to come up into your Utkatasana chair pose, broadening through the collarbone, sinking the hips down, and then just try coming up onto the toes. Bringing the hands to heart center. Inhale, come up onto the toes, and then bringing the bum all the way down onto the heels. Keeping the heels lifted here, we'll grab onto the tops of our shins and rock and roll back and forth a few times on the spine. Coming back onto the mat here, we're gonna bring the back onto the ground, extend the left leg out towards the top of the mat, and bring the right knee into the chest before coming into supine twist. Keeping the left hand on the knee. We're coming out to T here. Maybe bringing the gaze all the way to the right side of the room for ultimate twist. Inhale, come back through center here, bringing the knee into the chest before you extend it out. Inhale, bring the left knee, point and flex the toes a few times, and drop the leg over to the right side of the room here. Trying to keep the shoulder blades rooted into the earth as you take your gaze to the left side of the room. Releasing out, bringing both knees into the chest here. We're going to rock and roll on the spine a few times, eventually coming back up into our chair pose. Standing all the way up here, and then finding a forward fold. Inhale, lift up halfway, find length. Exhale, plant the hands, step back, and make your way through your vinyasa. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Bring your right foot forward, setting up for your warrior one. Following the breath, staying here, and then on your exhale, making your way through your vinyasa. On your next exhale, bring the left foot forward, warrior one. Following the breath, and on your exhale, making your way through your vinyasa, meeting here in downward facing dog. Taking a breath here to recenter and enjoy this pose, this asana. Plugging into the hands on your next exhale, look forward, bend the knees, step or float. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, come up for a chair. And exhale, fold. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, step or jump back, make your way through your vinyasa. From downward facing dog, bringing the right foot forward, coming into warrior one. Opening up to warrior two. Bringing the left hand behind you as you bring your right hand up and over. Then dropping the hand down, finding your side angle. Inhale all the way up through warrior two, finding your revolved warrior. And exhale, find your side angle. Inhale all the way up and through, straightening the front leg, then reaching for the right hand with the left. Breathing here, and then exhaling, coming to your warrior two, making your way into your extended side angle. Drawing your tailbone under, opening the heart towards the ceiling, maybe even going for a half bind, a bind, bird of paradise. Wherever you're at, staying true to your practice here. Slowly releasing out, bringing that back knee down, heel toeing the foot, the top foot over to the right side, making your way into lizard. Dropping the hands or the forearms and dropping the head here. Slowly make your way back up onto your hands if you're not there already. Heel toe the foot in, frame the front foot, then bring that leg out. Make your way through your vinyasa flow. Take a few breaths here. And then when you're ready, bend the knees, take the gaze forward. We'll step or hop to the front of the mat, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, come up for your chair pose, reaching the arms up, maybe even bringing the gaze up here. Folding on your exhale. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, step or hop back. Make your way through your vinyasa. When you get to your downward facing dog, bring your left foot forward, finding Virabhadrasana 1, warrior 1. Opening up to warrior 2. And then finding that vinyasa flow, bringing that top hand behind the back as you reach the front hand forward, revolved warrior. Making your way into your side angle just for a breath. Plugging down into the feet to come all the way back up. Find your revolved warrior. Finding that bend in the front knee. Making your way to your side angle. Then inhaling back up. Coming into your revolved warrior, then straightening that front leg, grabbing for that top hand. Nice big stretch here. Slowly release out, coming into your warrior 2 before transitioning to your variation of side angle here. Taking 3 breaths to take it wherever you need. Just exploring, being in inquiry with the body. One more nice deep inhale here. And exhale, we'll make our way into our lizard pose. Allowing the hips to sink down towards the mat. Breathing into any areas of tightness or gripping. And then slowly making your way out, coming through your vinyasa or just meeting in downward facing dog. Taking 5 breaths here. Adding on whatever you need or subtracting whatever you don't. Maybe reaching for the left ankle with the right hand for a twist. Reaching the left hand to the right ankle for a twist. Staying in your downward facing dog for 2 to 3 more breaths here. We'll slowly make our way to our dolphin pose, coming onto our forearms here, walking the feet a few steps in, and pushing up and out with our elbows and our forearms, finding the strength in the shoulders. Slowly making the way back into your downward facing dog. We'll bring our right foot to meet our right hand, setting up for our crescent lunge. Trying to bring the heel of the back foot directly over the toes here, finding engagement in the back leg as we find equal engagement in the front foot, drawing the front knee forward. Maybe even lifting the gaze up and back. Bringing the hands back to heart center here, we're going to find a twist. Bringing the left elbow onto the right knee. Bringing the hands up to the sternum here, not collapsing in, finding the gaze towards the back of the room. Think inhale, lengthen, and exhale, twist. One more breath and we'll slowly unwind here, bringing both feet to the long edge of the mat. Making our way into Skandasana, bending in the right knee, extending the left leg, toes pointed up, reaching the arms over to the left side. Transitioning here, coming into a counter pose, bringing the left hand down, opening the right hand up. Exhale, coming back into your Skandasana. Finding that right foot pivoted towards the left corner. And then opening up, coming onto the left foot. Inhale, finding your Skandasana. And then finding snake in the grass, coming over to the left side of the room. And then coming back over to the right. Walking the hands back up, coming into your crescent lunge. And then pulsing that back knee here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring the hands down to frame the front foot and then kick that back foot up, coming into standing splits. Maybe add some balance on here by trying to grab for the ankle or the calf with one or both hands, keeping your drishti focused on a tiny little speck. Slowly transitioning into half moon here, bringing the right hand down, lifting the left arm up, stacking the shoulders and the hips here, maybe finding a bind. Release out here, finding a forward fold at the top of your mat. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, make your way through your vinyasa. Coming to the left side now, bring the left foot forward for crescent lunge. Finding your integrity of the pose, setting up the foundation. Lifting up and out of the ribs, maybe even taking the gaze up and back. Finding activation and engagement in that back leg. Bringing the hands all the way back up, bringing them to heart center here, and finding your twist, hooking the right elbow onto the left knee. Not collapsing in, but thinking length. length and strength here. Slowly transition out. We'll find our Skandasana on the left side here. Bending into that left knee, straightening the right, finding a flex in the foot. Transitioning into our Revolve Skandasana. Bringing the left hand up, coming onto the right side of that back foot. Inhale back into your Skandasana, sinking into the hips. And then exhale, transition to the other side. Inhale back to your Skandasana, breathing into any tightness. Snake in the grass to the back of the room, and then back to the front. Planting the hands down, coming back up into your crescent lunge. Staying here or pulsing that back knee for 4, 3, 2, 1. Diving the hands forward, kicking that back leg up, finding your standing splits. Playing here for a moment. And then opening up to your half moon, stacking the shoulders, stacking the hips, keeping that back foot nice and extended. Slowly transition out, making your way onto your mat, coming into a goddess pose, heel toeing your toes to the outer corners of the mat, letting the hips sink down, knees be in line with the heels. Bringing the arms to cactus arms. Slowly reaching the arms all the way up and then coming up onto the left foot, setting the heel down, up onto the right toes, setting the heels down, coming up onto both toes, setting them down, straightening the legs, folding from the hips here. Forward fold. Maybe letting the crown drop down towards the mat. Maybe reaching the hands towards the back of the room. We'll inhale, lift up halfway, bring the hands underneath the shoulders here. We'll bring the left arm all the way up to the ceiling, finding a twist. Stacking the shoulders, bringing the gaze up. On your next inhale, sweep that arm down and take it to the opposite side. One more breath. Release out. Bring the hands onto the hips, stand all the way up. Heel toe the feet all the way back to center here. We'll come into some balance here. Forward fold and grab your right big toes with your right hand here, coming into standing leg raise, taking as many times as you need to get this. When you get there, opening up to the right side of the room, maybe taking the gaze to the left. With control here, we're going to slowly come back through center. Release the leg and come into a floating tree, bringing the knee out to the side but not letting the foot connect here. The hips are shining forward here and maybe taking the arms up. Bringing the foot now to figure 4 here. We're going to bring the hands to heart center and slowly find a sink in the knees. Bringing the elbows onto the knee and the ankle here, we'll find a nice forward fold. Only staying for a breath and then slowly releasing all the way back up, shaking that foot out, setting up for the opposite side, coming to a forward fold, bringing the left hand around the left toes. Inhale, coming up to your standing leg raise. Opening up to the left side when you're ready, maybe taking your gaze over to the right. With control, slowly coming back through center, find your floating tree, not letting the foot connect. Slowly making your way into your figure four. And bending in that knee, staying here, bringing the elbows to the leg, dropping the head. Slowly make your way all the way back up. Try to release out with control here. Coming onto your mat here, we'll come to revolve side angle with the left hand grabbing the right knee or the right toes here. Options are to take the gaze all the way to the back of the room. And then we'll release out, keeping that leg lifted and coming into airplane pose. Think lift in the chest. Flexing that back foot, pretend somebody's grabbing the back of your hands. Inhale, coming all the way up and through, finding your dancing Shiva. Slowly release out, shake it out, and we'll take it to the opposite side, finding evolved standing leg raise, grabbing onto the left knee or left toes with the right fingers. Staying here, or bringing your gaze all the way to the back of the room as you lift your left hand towards the back of the room. We won't stay here long. We're going to slowly release out, keeping the leg lifted and making our way into our airplane pose. Finding lifting and opening as we power down through that standing leg. Keeping the leg lifted, we're going to transition into dancing Shiva. Trying to keep the knee in line with the hip here, flexing that floating foot. Slowly release out, shake it out, shake it out. And then we're going to find a forward fold at the back of our mat here. Walking the hands all the way into downward facing dog. And then we'll walk the feet to meet the hands for forward fold. Walk them back out, downward facing dog. Coming up onto the toes, we'll bring the toes to touching and let the knees come out to the side as we come into froggy variation. Dropping the heads down, reaching the arms out towards the top of the mat, finding flexion in the spine here. Then staying here or finding a little play, maybe coming into some froggy jumps, rooting down into the hands, kicking the legs up, trying to stack the hips over the shoulders here. Maybe finding a little air time. Maybe rolling forward. Coming back into that froggy variation. And then we'll take crow here. Feeling free to take yogi squat or crow. Keeping the gaze forward. Staying in your crow or transitioning up into your headstand. Drawing the elbows towards one another and towards the back of the room. Finding that Uddiyana Bandha lock in the abdominals here. Slowly begin to release out. Finding downward dog as our counter pose. We're coming all the way down onto the stomach here. Bringing the hands out to either side of the mat. We'll inhale, lift the chin and the chest up, and exhale, drop the right shoulder down. Inhale, come up, and exhale, drop the left shoulder down. Coming all the way down onto the mat here. And taking a moment to just focus on the breath. We're going to reach the arms towards the back of the room, and as we inhale, we're going to lift up into locust, flexing the toes down, lifting the chin and the chest. Exhale, release down, wiggle the hips side to side, and then make your way back up into locust or bow pose. Trying to rock up onto the thighs here, still breathing. Exhale down, windshield wiper the feet back and forth a few times. And then we'll flip over on the mat like a pancake, coming onto our back. Setting up for bridge or wheel here, finding all four corners of the feet onto the mat. Seeing if the feet need to be closer or further away from the bum. And then on your next inhale, lifting up from the front of your body, coming into bridge or wheel. Wherever you're at, breathing, expanding, and opening. Drawing the knees towards one another, pretending you have a little block between your knees. Staying for a few more breaths. And then releasing out when you're ready. Finding your way to your Supta Baddha Konasana, soles of the feet together, knees out wide. Recentering the breath here. Feeling the body, thanking it for the journey it's taking you through. On your next inhale, bring your legs up the wall here, letting your lower back root into the ground as you draw your legs towards one another. Flex the toes down. Staying here, adding on some abs, letting the feet drop a third of the way down. Take a breath. All the way down. Take a peek up at your toes and then lift them all the way back up. Scissor the feet down and up here, bringing the hands underneath the hips here for support, or just keep them alongside. Point the toes, scissor them down, then scissor them back up. Bring the knees into the chest here. Find a supine twist, letting the legs drop over to the left side. Bringing the hands behind the head, crunch up. Continue crunching here and breathing, working into the obliques. Bringing the knees up and over to the opposite side, we'll find our crunches. Slowly coming back through center. Keeping the hands out long, extending the legs up here. And then we're going to lift up the hips like we're trying to poke little holes in the ceiling. Pointing the toes, lifting. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Draw the knees into the chest here. And drop the legs over to the right side, coming into an actual supine twist here. Bringing the hands into a fist so that the pinkies are down into the ground. Finding engagement in the shoulders as they root towards the mat. Inhale, bring your awareness to your core. Bring the knees up to center. Exhale, drop them down to the opposite side. Maybe taking the gaze all the way to the left side of the room here. Inhale, bringing the knees back up to center. And then flipping over on your mat here, coming into downward facing dog. We'll find our way into our pigeon pose. Lifting the right leg up, stacking the hips here, opening up, and then drawing it all the way forward. Finding a moment to find length here before you fold over that top leg. Staying here and trying to find that opening. Breathing into any tightness. Allowing the body to settle. We'll slowly begin to release out, bringing the hands underneath the shoulders, curling that back toe under, bringing that foot all the way back up to three-legged dog. We'll switch sides here, extending the left leg up. Find your three-legged, maybe opening up in the hips. And then setting that foot down at the top of your mat. Finding your pigeon, your half pigeon here. Finding length before you bend and dropping the head wherever you are at. If the mind begins to wander, just come back to the sound of your breath. Allowing a softening to happen in the mind, in the body, in the bones. A few more breaths here. Then bringing the hands up. We're going to swivel the feet all the way to the front of the room here. Bringing both feet down onto the ground. We'll windshield the knees back and forth a few times. Coming onto the sit bones, slowly come down onto your back. We'll transition our way into shoulder stand here or legs up the wall. Allowing the shoulders to be rooted into the earth. Keeping the hands underneath your back or out in front of you for support here. Coming right into plow, letting the toes come down behind you, trying to stack the hips over the shoulders. Adding on by perhaps lifting a leg here, then setting it back down. Lifting the opposite leg, setting it back down. Maybe lifting both legs now, coming into your full shoulder stand. In between a pointed and a flexed foot here to find space between those feet, each and every toe. Slowly release the legs down, coming into Deaf Man's pose, bringing the knees to either side of the ears. And then slowly transitioning out, coming down onto your back vertebrae by vertebrae, real slow like. Inhale, reaching the arms overhead, finding a full body stretch here. And then making your way to your final pose here before Savasana, let's take a fish, nestling the hands underneath the hips, dropping the crown of the head down towards the ground as we lift up through the chest, pointing through the toes here. And slowly release out, making your way into your final resting pose, Savasana. Allowing your breath to lead you to relaxation and presence in this moment.